one of the things is about starting with the end in mind. Now, if you don't begin with the end in mind and say to yourself, that's my goal, that's what I want to, yeah, that's it. If the 7 habits of highly effective people, there we go, that's the one. If you don't begin with the end in mind and you don't have those goals, you're going to be farting in the wind. So, that's what you're going to be doing. You're literally going to be farting in the wind, because basically without a goal, you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're reaching for, and you don't know how to strategize to go there. You start there, you say, this is my goal. And in order for me to get there, I need to build a strategy. And then you build your strategy based on that goal. And never, ever take your mind off that goal. That goal is the most important thing. You don't want to look left or right. That's the goal. That's the aim. And that's what I'm building towards. My goal right here, for example, is to build the most effective property incubator that's going to empower 1 million South Africans, historically disadvantaged South Africans, in order to empower them to build their own property portfolio, not to have just a house to live in, but a place or property that is an investment, not just a place to live. That's why my very first video on this tablet that we have, my very first video is that one that I did with private property. It's a 52-minute video that speaks, and it's freely available on my YouTube channel that you can listen to. Using property as an investment tool and not just a place to live. My goal is to educate 1 million South Africans and then go into Africa. But by 2025, I want 1 million people on this platform to educate them about property investment. You have to have goals. Otherwise, you're farting in the wind.
Now, the reason why I wanted to ask, but the reason why I asked you that question, I want you to come back again in January. Most people do what they call New Year's resolutions. So if it's fine with you, I would like you to come back again in January so that you can take us through the process of setting goals. Because what you've just talked about now, this taking action, yeah, it's more than what we had bargained for. Because, like you said, it does not matter what you learn, does not matter who you speak to, it does not matter who are your mentors, does not matter how much money you spend, but as long as you are not taking action. So I want us in this ECAS roundtable discussions, the people that attend next year, we need to set goals, and we need to achieve those goals or part of those goals by the end of the year. So if Nigel agrees, and he has already agreed, Nigel, please come in January. We'll set up a date. Possibly the first session that we're going to have is going to be goal setting, so that we know what we're working towards to. And when I send out the surveys, you need to start thinking about what is your goal and what is it that we as ECAS Property Roundtable discussions can do to make you achieve those goals, so that when we invite guests into these sessions, it's the guests that will help us to achieve the goals that we have set yourself. Thank you so much, Nigel, for agreeing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take too much of your time. Nigel is here. Let's ask him questions. You can just raise your hand or turn on your mic and you shoot.
Guys, it doesn't have to be about today's session. You can ask me any question about any topic that you want, as long as it's property related.
Yes. Dembo.
I'll try and answer as best I can. I see Mpendulo as a hand up there.
Yeah, let's start with, sorry, Pendulo. Let's start with Mtembi. He was the first one.
Right. Hi, gentlemen.
Yeah, Mtembi.
How are you today? I'm hoping you are all well. Thank you so much, Nigel. You have just given us $1 billion worth of information in all these sessions. And I've got a very long notes that I've been taking throughout these sessions. I just have a few questions for you. The first one, I think it's psychological. When it comes to property, you know, you keep emphasizing that it is a long-term game. And I want to know that how do you keep yourself in a state of achievement when you know that whatever you're doing now, you're not going to achieve tomorrow? Like, how are you able to play the game over, you know, the long term? You know, because like if you're talking to me, I'm thinking, hey, if I do a deal now, I want to see the money at least in 2 years' time or so. So, but I see some projects are taking you 3 years. You know, some say they take 5. How do you keep yourself, you know, intact, maintaining your vision and your goal? And then the second question is going to be more technical, about specifically the trust owning a company that owns the properties. I'm not sure, but maybe later on that is possible. But I think while you're starting out, when you have a trust that actually owns a company, so where do you show the financial muscle, or is this only applicable once you've obviously built yourself a significant reputation with the bank?
Then what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? How do you show the financial muscle?
If a trust owns a company that owns a property, so where do I show? Because, you know, obviously they would want like someone to stand surety.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't come across a situation where they don't want. Maybe it's still too early for me.
I do understand the question. Don't worry, Zuzu. I do understand the question. So I've got it down. I understand exactly what you're trying to say, and I'll get to that.
Okay.
Numisa, I think let's get all the questions asked, and then I'll answer all of them at one time.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the information. It was worth it. I think also my question is almost very close to Mthembu. In terms of maybe mine is more like, if your personal house now, the personal family house, what is the best thing now if you want to move it to a trust, and also obviously so that you can start to build everything? Because what I've just learned now, it sounds to me everything under a trust, it is much better.
Thank you. Thanks, Lamine. Winnie?
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you, Nigel. You know, I just bought a 2-bedroom flat. I used my name, but I realize now that perhaps I should have used a company name. So, how possible it is to reverse the process of having a company and putting that a 2-bedroom flat in the company name? Is it possible or not? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Winnie. Kanye? Kanye? Okay, Kanye seems like, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, Kanye?
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Yes, okay, my apologies. I'm actually standing at the turret in Rosebank at the apartment that have just been built in Rosebank. I'm not sure how old they are, maybe a little less than a year. So, I mean, I just would be interested. There are 2-bedroom apartments right on the mall. They're basically, you know, facing the Mall of Rosebank. And I just, you know, just wanted a quick view about as an investment, you know, maybe what Nigel thinks. Just if that can be answered, sure.
Okay, thanks, Kanye. Ngonyama.
Yeah, thanks, Dumiso. Nigel, thanks again for your session today. I wanted to ask, in the USA, there's the system of tax liens, whereby if a homeowner owes the municipality too much money, then the municipality in the USA, they normally repossess the house, and then an investor can buy it on auction for almost nothing. So I wanted to ask you, the sheriff auction situation in South Africa, would you say it is similar to the system of tax liens in the USA?
Thanks, Ngonyama. Nomsa.
Thanks, Dumiso, and thanks, Nigel, for the informative session. My question is, when buying a property under a company, some agency normally on the OTP, they like to indicate that a signatory takes responsible or is liable for, by signing, you are taking full responsibility or accountability of if there is any breach. And I'm not sure how to handle that, because the whole purpose of buying under company is to ensure that you are not liable as an individual. So how do you address that? Thanks.
Thank you, Nomsa. Nigel, I think let's take these ones. I see there is one more that is dropped on the what you call it, the chat. Yeah, I think let's take these ones, and then if there is anything else on the chat, then we'll attend to it.
Okay, I'm trying to read that. By the way, my neighbor wanted to sell a property to me, and I have been liberated, as I will no longer buy, because I was getting emotionally attached that the property was too expensive for what we needed for. Thank you for the session 2 weeks back. It made it easy. Okay. Yeah, that is exactly what I was talking about earlier in terms of being emotional about something. So, you know, sometimes family and friends and neighbors can get involved in a property investment opportunity and make it emotional for you. Because in this case, for example, your neighbor wants to sell, you emotionally connected to the person, so you don't want to go and offer them a lower price because you feel like you're doing them in. But at the end of the day, if you buy, let's just, can we mute Wendy there? Okay, there we go. If you're buying a property from an emotional perspective, and you're 100% correct, and I'm glad that the session helped you to make a decision. When you buy a property for investment purposes, it has to be done by the numbers. You look at what the yield is, you look at the internal rate of returns, you look at your normal rate of return, and all those calculations that I spoke about last week. If the numbers make sense, then it's a good investment. But if it's beauty, if it looks good and the numbers don't make sense, then it's emotional. So that's what always the balance. Look at the thing and say, does the numbers make sense? And only on the basis of the numbers do you make an investment decision. If the numbers don't work out, put it aside. If the numbers work out and it gives you the returns